Your TV and LSU student media are not responsible for the thoughts and opinions expressed on this show. The content is produced solely by the show's slightly deranged creator, writer, and host, Ryan Banowitz. Enjoy!
Check the jacket game. This week on The Update, Tiger Woods and Lindsey Vonn announced they're dating. I'm supposed to care, but I can't see why I should. In real news, the Republican Party is listening to my coaching, and the Pew Report on media further affirms my genius. And don't miss my sit-down with Micah Bedard for March Madness Insight. But don't listen to his advice, so I can take your money. Quit Instagramming your dinner. It's time to update yourself.
Yeah. Pressing at a kid just to be grown up. Yeah. Whoever thought I'd be the greatest growing up. Yeah. Whoever thought I'd be the greatest growing up.
You know, I hate to say I told you so. Who am I kidding? I love it just like everybody else. The theme of this week is predictions. Sometimes we make guesses, and it's always interesting to see how they pan out. We always want to be right, and if that's not the case, then you must be a loser. Speaking of losers, a couple of weeks ago, I gave a solid pep talk to the Republican Party. I laid out a comprehensive plan to get them back in the game and into the White House. Let me rewind the tape for a minute. Look, y'all got to back off the homosexuals. Gay people, not just women with other pretty women's, are going to get married. Everywhere. Soon. So y'all just going to have to accept that. If you ever want to take the pretty lady to prom again, more importantly, to inauguration, we're going to need some help from the Hispanics, y'all. We already asked them to do everything else for us. Why not vote? That hat was more than just a head accessory. It was a mouthpiece for change, and the Republican Party heard my clarion call. The Republican National Committee announced Monday that they will formally endorse immigration reform in an attempt to draw in minority voters. Unsurprisingly, the $10 million campaign will also target gay and lesbian voters. You know, they might be holding on to bipartisanship, but I think their voter base might be getting un poco bi-curious. Do you know what this means? People are listening to me. I take 100% credit for the changes being made in the Republican Party. You know, why pay Karl Rove when you can hand his fat pundit checks to me? Did I say fat? No pun intended. Actually, it was intended. You know, coaching jobs are hard to come by, and when you get a chance to build up a program, it can be a solid resume piece moving forward. That being said, I know I said I'd only do this once, but it looks like this good old boy's got to put the hat back on and ride this GOP gravy train all the way to the promised land. Woo! All right, the hat will rise again. Since I finally got y'all's attention, it's time to get some real work done. Can't celebrate after a 3-yard run, boys. Act like you've been there before, like a Bass Pro Shop or a church pew. Praise Priebus. You know, don't get me wrong. Progress is progress. You listened to me when I told you to back off the homosexuals and bring in the foreigners, but because you invited them to your party doesn't mean they're going to RSVP, and you're friggin' loco if you think they're sharing their tapas yet. If it ain't Tex-Mex, then I probably can't pronounce it. Moving on. All right, ladies got all types of talents these days. Brittany Griner can dunk the basketball. Serena Williams runs a fashion line when she's not scaring the living daylights out of me. And, oh yeah, they can vote. Hold on, let me check in my history books real quick, which you saved from my book learning days. Oh yeah, found 1920. Damn it, boys, we are behind on this one. I think we should stop telling them what they can and can't do with their vaginas and start worrying about what they will or won't do in the booth. And no, that ain't a fancy term for sexy parts, although it should be. Coined it. All right, you owe me $50 every time you say that. Call my agent for the details. 555, give me your damn money. And while we're speaking of wise ways of spending your time and money, maybe you should try turning on a computer. And no, porn doesn't count. All right, there's this thing called social media. You might not realize, but Barack was out there tweetering in my face and in his smart car all the way to the Tech Fest. I think he even learned Klingon. You might think the internet is some fantasy land where nerds go to become wizards, but it actually means votes. That's a term you understand. All right, and one last thing, before you go acting like the next election's in your pocket, I'd like to remind y'all of something. We lost. Losers can't get comfortable. All right, fat and happy doesn't mean large and in charge. Having trouble with my hat. Looking at you, Limbaugh, all of you. All right, so tonight, when you lay your balding head down on your silk pillowcase, just remember, you're a loser. If you want to change that, the only thing that will change that is blood, sweat, and tears. And votes, and money, and somebody that can stand up to Hillary Clinton, so good luck. That is past my pay grade. Unless you want to change that. Comprende? Come back after the break for the insider's view on the tournament from Micah Bedard. The song Basketball Jones was made about him.
Very good defense. Wade from behind takes it away. Chalmers, Cole, James!
Oh, rest in peace, Jason Terry. All right, it's time for March Micah Madness, so get out your pens and pads because it's time for bracketology. So yesterday when you saw him come out, you have any surprises, anything like that? Any overseeds, underseeds?
I mean, this has nothing to do with me being from Eugene, Oregon, but Oregon, a 12 seed, they just won the Pac-12 tournament, 2-0 against UCLA. UCLA gets a 6. Something's wrong there. Then you talk about surprising. NCAA Tournament Committee going all rule breakers on us. You can't play a matchup that was played in the regular season in the first round. UNLV and Cal played already. Not to mention, they're playing in San Jose, a mere hour away from Cal, the 12 seeds campus. If I'm UNLV's coach right now, Dave Rice, pretty pissed off.
Yeah, no, I agree with the Oregon thing, even though total Eugene homer over here. Quack Attack. But speaking of the Quack Attack, any upset picks? Because they're at 12. I was looking at 5-12s. I like personally some Marshall Henderson action going on.
See, Marshall Henderson's playing Wisconsin and Bo Ryan, and Bo Ryan's probably the least likely coach in this tournament who would want to have Marshall Henderson on their team. I think they shut them up in the first round, but yeah, Oregon, as far as seed-wise, I think they're a little closer to Oklahoma State. I see them taking one. Watch about the Belmont Bruins down there playing against Arizona at 11-6. I like Belmont over them. And also, watch out for South Dakota State. You got to pick a team.
South Dakota State.
My mom likes to go with, the nickname-wise. South Dakota State, Jackrabbits. Talk about some swag right there. I like the Jackrabbits. Plus, Michigan, they've been 6-6 down the stretch. I like the Jackrabbits.
And for the record, if we're going by complete name brackets, Wichita State, Wheat Shockers wins.
But what about St. Louis, the Billikens?
Billikens is a great name. I didn't even know what a Billiken was.
I still don't.
I refuse to look it up, though. Also, snubs. Did you see anyone that you wanted to see in the tournament that wasn't in the tournament?
Well, putting my coach hat on, we can look right here in that SEC.
Where's the red hat?
Because Tennessee, quite frankly, got screwed out of a bit. I mean, you're talking about 6 wins against the RPI top 50. They played their best ball down the stretch 2 years in a row, really. They have got left out of the tournament. Talk about Virginia. They have 6 wins against the RPI top 50. Middle Tennessee State, St. Mary's, and LaSalle have 3 combined. So you look at that a little iffy. I think Tennessee and Virginia definitely have some beef with the tournament committee.
ACC, I know, also got only 4 teams in, something like that. But that's just, I can't even defend the ACC. Tar Heel shirt all day as well. Also, people have been looking for the players. The only people that I can remember are Kelly Olynyk with the long hair. Who are some players that stand out? I like Marcus Smart from Oklahoma State.
Marcus Smart's good. He's going against the Ducks, of course. But a team I like, Bucknell and Butler. It's going to be interesting because Rodney Clark, plus Rodney. It's not Rodney, it's Rodney from Arkansas. He's going to be really interesting to see. And Mike Muscala on Butler, 19 points, 10 rebounds a game. He can really take over games. And if you look at some other guys, Georgetown, I hate Georgetown, but Otto Porter, he's pretty good. So if Georgetown's going to make a run, they have to lean on Porter. But he's one of those guys. And plus, Olynyk with the hair. You got to make an all-hair team, too.
Oh, all hair. Big time.
Easy.
Also, you'd be crazy to try to pick a winner. Anyone would be. This field is ridiculous. But any matchups you'd like to see coming up down the road?
I think Oklahoma State and Oregon's a really good first-round matchup. Bucknell and Butler, I think, is really good, too. Like I said, 2 guys who can really take over the game. But one game I think you should really look out for when it comes down to it is Marquette and Davidson. I think Davidson really, when it comes down to it, they don't have Steph Curry. They don't really need him this year. They've got Jake Cohen, a couple of other guys. I really think Marquette and Davidson's going to be a game that comes down to the wire.
All right, last question to make this one quick. What do you think about LSU not making it in the CBI or the NIT?
It's awful. I mean, they didn't make the NIT. He said he wanted to go to the CBI, and they didn't. I really think it's an outrage. LSU fans should be pretty pissed about it, but they won't be. They should be playing in the CBI. Johnny Jones asked him today. He said, they're focusing elsewhere. They shouldn't be.
All right. Well, guys, you heard it from Micah. Follow Micah on Twitter and check out his articles in the Reveille. Dude knows his stuff. Come back after the break so I can tell you I was right for the second time. Best feeling in the world. Thanks for hopping on my crazy train for another episode of The Update. Actually, it's more like a van, and I've got the best candy. Follow me on Twitter for some midweek humor and random thoughts, and don't be shy to visit the Facebook page. This week's takeaway involves me doing something I love, announcing for the second time on one show that I was right and you were smart for watching. This year's Pew State of the Media study recently came out, and it confirmed what I stated on my very first show here on The Update. News coverage is getting worse. Less viewers are tuning in because they say the coverage is incomplete, and the stories simply aren't there. The study also revealed most of the frustrated viewers also don't understand the financial constraints of the modern media. Let me see if I can help illustrate. I'd be lucky if I wasn't eating dog food in 3 years with this market. And I know some of my fellow media members would gladly work in the boondocks for a bag of Imes every 2 weeks. Yes, they would. Who's a good photog? Who's a good photog? All right, the problem is media outlets are businesses. Running a business means making money by any means necessary. And by any means necessary, it means firing almost everybody and forcing the remaining staff to write editorial segments that make fans either go, hey, that pisses me off, or I completely agree, go America, neither of which offer any real benefit to viewers. Information, perspective, news, damn it, news! The worst part is the leading culprit is from my team. As you all know, I'm pretty liberal. But what they're doing at MSNBC is more akin to hippies crying over dead trees. Travis, do we have that video? Can we roll that, please?
I want to mourn the loss of all the old growth trees I've seen, and tell them that we love them and that we don't want them to die.
And I'll sit here for a second while you rewind that once or twice. Go ahead, I know you want to. Seriously though, MSNBC spends more time, 85% of their broadcasts to be exact, airing editorials and perspective. Trust me, I'm the first one to throw some kooky liberal nonsense around, but I also don't claim to be what some would call a news outlet. The problem is, last time I turned on Rachel Maddow, this is what I saw.
I've looked at clear cuts and burnt forest, and I've felt outraged, but I didn't scream and I didn't cry. And I need to.
Travis, I'm pretty sure that was the hippie stuff again, but that's close enough. And I'm not going to act like I didn't enjoy it the second time. Who am I kidding? I watched that video like 1,000 times. But if my childish scolding isn't enough for my fellow media members to straighten up and fly right, let me inform you on who's leading the pack. Fox News. Oh, yeah, I just threw up too. All right. Their stories might have a slight lean to the right, just a slight one, but they still spend 45% of their broadcasts on reporting and news packages. Editorial pieces still make up 55% of their broadcasts. But it should be a shocking indicator when Fox News says they're leading the curve in anything aside from ratings. What did we learn from this week, class? Whatever you just said was wrong, unless the answer was, Ryan is always right. Until next week, eat more fiber, but stay away from public bathrooms. And set an alarm to update yourself. More hippies!
So I want you to